So let's go over how to paint our pumpkin landscape projects. Once you have outlined everything with oil pastels, then you are ready to paint. When you paint, you need a messy mat underneath your painting. You'll need a water cup and a paintbrush and your paint tray. Now you have a variety of colors to use here on your landscape. In the center, we have a brown. The brown is smaller because it didn't come in this large size, but it will work just fine. When we use these paints, we need to add water to them to wake them up. They are like a big watercolor, and the more that you swirl your brush around on the paint, the more vibrant and brighter your color will be. You can see how I'm painting here with the orange. If I have more water on my brush and I just have a little bit of paint, then I will have a very light, watery color. And sometimes that might be the look that you're going for. But for our project, we want to try to get a lot of color on our brush and paint with really bright, vibrant colors. We're going to start out by painting our pumpkins first by using the warm colors. We're going to use all three, which are red, orange, and yellow. You might think that pumpkins are traditionally orange, but they do have some of the other warm colors in them. Remember when you're painting that you always want to rinse your brush when you use a new color. So I have a lot of red on my paintbrush. I would not want to go into the yellow and try to use yellow right now. When I did that, I ended up getting the yellow dirty. So what I need to do is clean off my brush in my water cup and then add some water to the yellow. And I'm trying to remove the red that I added. Sometimes you have to do this a few times, but if you remember to always clean your brush before you use a new color, then you shouldn't have to clean off your paints. And now the yellow looks much better. So when we're painting, we want to start with that center oval that we used for the middle of our pumpkin. And we're going to start by painting with red. Red is the darkest of the three warm colors, and I'm going to paint the red around the edge of that oval shape. So I'm going all the way around. Remember, the more color on your brush, the darker the color will be. Now before that dries, I want to put orange right next to it. So I'm going to work one section at a time, so just on this oval at first. Then I'll move on to the other sections of the pumpkin. So I rinsed my brush and now I'm getting orange and I'm going to paint it right next to the red. And this way it is blending into the red and creating a little bit of a value scale, going from red, which is the darkest, to orange. And then next is yellow. So I'm cleaning my brush and then I'm going to get yellow to put into the middle. And it's going to blend into the orange. Now I can go ahead and work on another section of my pumpkin, starting with red around the edge. And when we paint over our oil pastel, the oil pastel is staying on the paper because it's creating a resist. The oil pastels are made of oil, which resist water from the paint. So you can see your oil pastel through the paint. Then I'm using orange. And that little spot there, I'm going to fill with yellow. I'm gonna go ahead and paint in the rest of my pumpkins. Pumpkins are painted in, I can go ahead and paint in other things on my landscape, like the stem, the leaves, and the grass. After, I will paint in the sky. So the brown will work the same way, it's just a watercolor. Add a little water to it, and then you can paint in with brown for the stem. Stems could also have a little bit of green on them. You decide what works best for your landscape. Then for your leaves, they should be mostly warm colors. So we're using reds, oranges, and yellows. Maybe just a little bit of green or brown if you want them to be changing colors. I'm also going to paint them multiple colors, so red, and then maybe the other side is yellow. You could paint your leaves more than one color to show that it is fall and that they are changing colors. So this one is orange with a little bit of brown. go ahead and paint in the grass using the green. I need to be very careful when I paint around my leaves that I don't get any green on the leaves. So notice how I painted around the leaves, and then I can paint and fill in the rest of the grass. The last thing I have left to paint is the sky. So you could use a variety of the cool colors. We have a turquoise blue, a dark blue, a purple. So I think I'm going to start with the turquoise, which is the lighter blue, and work my way up to purple to the edge of my paper. So next to the pumpkins, I'm going to paint with the turquoise. And then I'm going to add the darker blue on top and blend it into the turquoise. Remember to carefully paint around your leaf shapes that are in the sky. And then once I reach the top, I'm going to paint purple all the way to the edge of the paper and carefully paint around those leaf shapes. When I do this, I like to work on one small section at a time and work my way across my paper. That way I can blend in the colors while they are still wet. So I could use the turquoise, blend it into the dark blue, and then blend it into the purple. Okay, so I am all done painting my pumpkin landscape. Now you need to go put your wet painting on one of the drying racks in the art room to dry. Just look for the one that's closest to your table where you sit. When you go to the drying rack, you should carry your messy mat with 2 hands and slide it onto one of the empty spots on the drying rack. Then with your water cup, you should take it to the sink and pour out your dirty water. So you can take your brush and put it into the dirty brush cup, and then you can pour out your dirty water. Turn on the water to rinse out your cup. Once it's pretty clean, then you can stack it in the box that says clean water cups. Or sometimes Miss Moore might want you to refill your water cup for the next class. If she asks you to do that, then you're going to fill your water cup up about halfway and just put it here next to the sink. So I would fill it up about halfway, and then I could just set it over here. Also, please make sure that all your paints are kept clean, and if there's any extra colors on the colors, remember to clean them off by just adding some water to your paintbrush and swirling it around until that extra color comes off. I hope you have fun painting your pumpkin landscapes. I can't wait to see how they turn out.